Hey, what's going on, guys? Jake Tech here, back with another video, and today we are actually going to be talking about this little unit right here. So I recently switched up my peripherals, and the mouse being one of them. I recently picked up the Logitech G305, and in this video we're going to go over my first initial thoughts on it and what I think about it as far as a really good budget gaming mouse goes, and overall just how I like it so far for gaming, productivity, and whatever else. So I finally decided to switch up my peripherals a little bit, both the mouse and keyboard, but today, like I said, we're talking about the Logitech G305 that I upgraded to. So I decided to switch my mouse and keyboard setup mainly because when it comes to the mouse, I kind of noticed I've been doing a wide variety of gaming lately and kind of going back and forth from controller to mouse and keyboard depending on the game. And I've just never gotten real comfortable on mouse and keyboard. I mean, I would play decent, but when it comes to, I felt like my grip was real inconsistent. And I just feel like the results from that weren't real consistent. And the mouse that I was gaming on since 2018 is the Logitech G502, which is a very well-known mouse from Logitech. This is, I think, the version 1, and it is wired, as you can see. But made some adjustments to it. I took all of the weights out of the bottom to try and lighten it up to where I get a little bit better grip. And as you can see, it is a very ergo gamery style mouse to game with. Kind of exploring my options and seeing what's really popular on the gaming mouse market. And not necessarily just from esports professionals, but from other tech YouTube content creators that game quite a bit to see what they prefer. And a lot of them are going to a more minimalist gaming mouse. So most of the mice that they're using are definitely more minimal, like I mentioned. Not having a whole lot of programmable buttons. Definitely something that's light in weight. And many people are making the switch to wireless. And that was one of the big things I wanted to switch to. So with my kind of new addition to the setup, my 240 Hertz Alienware monitor behind me, that's kind of my more competitive gaming setup. And then when I turn over this way, I have my ultra wide, which I use more for like productivity, video editing, and then more immersive titles. So it's nice having the wireless G305 to where I can just pick it up and move it from, this setup or over to here and game on this monitor, which is really nice. And then I paired that with a 60% keyboard that isn't wireless, but it's just super easy to pick up and move around. So that's kind of the second main reason why I wanted to pick up a new gaming mouse. So talking more specifically about the G305, I actually chose this mouse just looking over some reviews and seeing the value to performance is really good on this mouse. It is a fantastic wireless gaming mouse for a really low price compared to other options on the market. So I highly considered going with something more premium like the G Pro X Superlight. After reading a lot of different reviews, quite a few reviews that I read were people that have used both the G Pros and the G305 from Logitech, and a lot of them prefer the feel of the G305. So I thought for around the price range of $50, it's definitely worth a shot, and sure enough, I have really come to love this mouse so far. Like I said, for both gaming and just productivity, editing, whatever it might be. But really for gaming, I've really come to love this mouse just because I don't know if it just fits my hand much better than the Logitech G502 did, but I just get a much more consistent grip and feel with this mouse compared to other ones I've used in the past like the G502. And I think a lot of it's just due to the very simple teardrop shape. It is ambidextrous, so if you're right or left-handed, it'll fit no problem. Those features paired with a super lightweight wireless design just makes this mouse feel super sporty. As far as my playstyle goes for mouse and keyboard gaming, I am more of a conventional claw grip gamer when it comes to first-person shooters. And I play at a pretty high DPI where I'm doing more wrist movements opposed to full large arm movements where I take big swings. So I generally keep more wrist movement and keep it at a higher DPI. Right now I game on 1600 for the DPI mostly, and it's a really comfortable feel for somebody that is more of a wrist shooter. If you game on the other end of the spectrum where you're not a wrist aimer per se and you do more larger movements on the mouse pad with your arm, you're definitely going to notice the benefits of wireless quite a bit more than somebody who does do more wrist aiming. So now talking a little bit more about the specs of the Logitech G305 wireless gaming mouse. Like I said, the big draw with this one is the price to performance value and that it is a wireless gaming mouse. So it's wireless via a 2.4 gigahertz dongle. This mouse does weigh in about anywhere from 97 to 84 grams approximately, depending on the battery you use. Right now I just have a standard AA battery that is rechargeable, so it'll be a little bit on the heavier side. You can put a AAA battery inside the mouse and lighten it up a bit, which is really cool, and that'll get it to about 84 grams in weight. That weight paired with a nice small teardrop shaped design really makes it a mouse that can be slung around pretty good when gaming. The G305 is also compatible with Logitech's G Hub software, so you can adjust anything like the DPI in the software and other macro settings for the buttons, stuff like that. And the Logitech software is actually one of my favorites. It's very easy to navigate, has a nice user interface, and it can really link up your devices very nicely. The G305 Lightspeed 2 also comes with a USB extender, so if you do have your PC in a location where it's a bit far from the desk or underneath the desk and you're not getting the best signal, you can relocate the dongle by using this USB-A extender, which is pretty cool. I haven't had any issues with that, but even moving my mouse from this monitor to the monitor behind me, having my PC in this central location with the dongle on the back, I haven't had any sort of latency issues, as the responsiveness from this mouse is really snappy. As far as the contacts on the bottom goes, it does have a few at the corners, and then we have a circular one in the middle, and then one circular one at the bottom. And with those, I'm not sure how it compares to something like the G Pro Super Light, but it does have a really good glide to it, and it glides really nicely on the mouse pad, and I'm sure it varies depending on which mouse pad you use. The battery life is probably a big question for many. It's rated for up to 250 hours from what I've seen on all the spec sheets. I'm using a rechargeable AA battery in this particular scenario, and I got this mouse I think a couple weeks ago, maybe a week ago, and I haven't replaced. I'm about half battery from what the software says, and like I said, I haven't had to recharge the battery or anything yet, and I just basically leave it on all the time. I think it does have a slight sleep mode to it when it's inactive, so the battery life is absolutely killer on this mouse. So all of those features with a good lightweight wireless design really makes this mouse hard to beat, especially at the price point of around $50. So I definitely recommend the Logitech G305 Lightspeed if you're somebody that wants to make the jump into a wireless gaming mouse but doesn't want to spend, over $100 or just wants to spend around the $50 mark. I think this is probably the best option in that price category, especially given all the features and the overall look and feel of this mouse when gaming is just unbeatable in my opinion. When it comes to choosing a gaming mouse, it can actually be very subjective. There might be a lot of people out there that don't like a mouse of this kind of teardrop shape and style and might prefer something more like a more ergonomic style. Like this is one I reviewed in the past. This is the Razer Basculus X. And personally, myself, I've kind of gone away from a style of mouse like this. And it's mainly just because of, it's not a bad feel for like productivity, but for me when gaming, I just don't feel like I have a consistent grip on the mouse at all times. I kind of feel like it's, slipping out of my hand quite a bit. But that's just me. And like I said, choosing a gaming mouse is very subjective. And some people might prefer the ergo grip, but to me, it's kind of hard to go wrong with a mouse of this shape and style. I feel like a lot of people can really appreciate this style of gaming mouse and really find it comfortable. So that's going to wrap up this video, guys. Just wanted to give kind of a short-term review on the Logitech G305 Lightspeed and my overall thoughts on it so far and why I decided to change up my peripherals, and in this video talking in terms of the mouse and why I went with the Logitech G305 Lightspeed. So summing it all up, it's mainly just because I wanted something a little bit more versatile in my desk setup. So wireless really gives me the freedom to move around from this setup here to my monitor over behind me very easily. Along with, I wanted to find something that more comfortably fits my hand and that's just more comfortable to game with, where I feel like I game a little bit more consistent. That's gonna wrap up this video, guys. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like on it, and if you want to see more tech related videos like this one, be sure to subscribe. As always, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.